Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Omziel Healing Sanctuary. We're giving you bite-sized information for you to take in your daily life. And I'm here with a special guest from the CrossFit ECF that is in West New York. She's one of the head trainers, and I was looking at some of her feed, and it's just fascinating, her life. I just allow her to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about what's going on.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you for having me. My name is Jessica, and I am, yes, a head trainer there, and I'm also co-owner of CrossFit ECF, which was part of my accomplishments that we'll get to in a little bit. I've done bodybuilding for, I would say, since 2016, a little bit more than even CrossFit, which is kind of weird. Most people meet me working at a CrossFit gym and, running a CrossFit gym, and they associate me to CrossFit. But my journey actually was through bodybuilding. All the discipline, all the hard work came through that. And I've been in the fitness industry for longer than that. I was doing personal training and physical therapy since college. So
Wow.
It's been
Wow.
a long time that I've been on a hands-on career in the healing aspect.
That's amazing. And what made you get into bodybuilding?
Yeah, good question. Actually, I was a personal trainer, and I had like this, I was trying to understand, I was trying to empathize with people who did not want to do the thing, right? We all want change. We all want to succeed. We all want to see changes in our body. We all want to improve. We all want to grow. We want to get stronger. We want to get fitter. We want to look better. But I always found that I say, do this, do that, and they weren't doing it. And it was easy for me to go to the gym. It was easy for me to eat healthy-ish, right? So I said to myself one day, what would be the hardest thing for me so I can understand that breaking point of this is hard and now I have to actually follow through with it. And in that time, I was actually going through a lot of mental health issues, and it was a tough time. And I wanted to kind of feel a different pain. I was already in pain, and I was like, well, might as well put myself into a different type of pain. Yeah. 2016, it was August 1st. I'll never forget. I literally sat down with a coach and said, I'm in. I'll do whatever you need me to do. If you need me to eat dirt, I'll eat dirt. So I started there, and I removed myself from a bunch of friends and a lot of media and social things. I dedicated the first few months to kind of doing this solo. I was working at a studio in Fairfield that we had at the time, and it was just training clients and working out and drinking my water, measuring my food. I was like kind of in between places too. I didn't really have much stability at the time. And, it was kind of a roller coaster trying to get situated. But as soon as I realized the drastic change it did to my spirit, like to be 1000% dialed in to doing what you're supposed to do, it made me feel like I can do anything. Like I was unstoppable. I was like, if I can control food, right? If I can say, I don't need that, I don't have to have that, you start to control everything. Food controls us as human beings.
Right.
We emotionally associate everything with food. We're like, I feel happy, food. I feel sad, food. I want to celebrate with food, or I want to console myself with food. I want to soothe myself with food. And that's a big thing in my culture. As Hispanics, we want to, oh, but why don't you eat that? And like, how come you know that?
Right.
So I had to go through a whole culture shock, and I wasn't very supported in the beginning. My family didn't understand. People at the gym didn't understand. They're like, that's kind of crazy. Until I crossed my first finish line, everybody's like, whoa, like how did you do that? By doing it. It was blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of sweating. Like my hands had to be here. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And it was like, get up at a certain time in the morning or work out at 1 o'clock in the morning. It was random times. Whenever I was able to get it in, I got it in. And you learn that you are your own best secret weapon. Like after that, you're controlling the food, controlling your regimen, controlling like what goes in your body, and making the conscious decision of I can do anything. That's just kind of what set me off and made me realize how much I love that sport because of how much dialing in you need to do. You need to be fully aware of your body, of your day, of your vision. Every decision that you make can affect you 10 months from now. And as humans, we don't really have that sort of patience, I don't think.
Right.
We don't.
Right.
We want instant gratification. We want everything right now. I want the 6-pack tomorrow. And I realized that one workout was going to affect me 10 months from now. That one meal is going to affect me 10 months from now. So it almost taught me how to harvest. Like I can plant little seeds and I'll see the fruit of it later on. And I kind of applied that to other areas of my life.
Yeah, you speak about being dialed in, and we spoke a little bit offline about that. And you had mentioned, yeah, it's tough. And I was like, tough? No. That sounds brutal. Like, this is brutal what you put your body through just to try to achieve something that you don't even know that's going to be there when you get there.
And in that sport, a judge can just simply like someone else's body better. Like, even if you feel like you are the best.
Right. And you know that you're best.
Yeah. And you put in work 24/7. It's not like you go to the gym. I did my session. Now I can go off and like basketball, right? We train, boom, boom, we throw some shots. I did my 3-hour session. Now I get to go eat McDonald's, right? This is 24/7 every day. I brought my food with me to work, to the bar, to weddings, my brother's wedding. I brought my egg whites to his wedding. And I said, this is worth the reward. And it teaches you that, like, if you work really, really, really hard at something in a disciplined manner, it's going to pay off. And it did, because I actually ended up winning a lot of my shows, including a pro card. So I became a professional bodybuilder. And it was worth all of that sacrifice. I was able to say, I did everything I could. And if someone said, hey, it wasn't good enough, I can at least walk away saying I did everything I could. And that was really important. My friends actually supported me a lot in my training. And one day we were just going at it for like over an hour on the rower we're running. And someone just said, for everything that we're doing, your ass better win. And I was like, you're right. Like, what's the point of all of this if we're not going for the win, for the kill, And it was tough. Like, I made a lot of social sacrifices, a lot of, emotional ones. There were times where I wanted the drink and I wanted the food, But I said no. Like, if I was going through a hard time, stressful time, especially with all that mental health, issue, had a lot of anxiety. I said, like, this was my rehab almost. It taught me that I didn't need medication. I didn't need soothing of alcohol. I didn't need donuts to feel better. It taught me, like, you really just need you and get to know you in those dark moments. And that's what, like, just, it's like, it was like tough, but also like so rewarding to get to know yourself at that level.
Talk to me about a little bit about those rewards. What have you experienced? I know you're professional, you got the card, and like, what else?
I brought in some business.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and what the empathy part was what I was after. So now I was like, okay, now I understand that moment where you don't want to keep going. You're like, why am I going to go to the gym? What kept me focused was knowing that I had a show, right? I had a deadline. I was like, I got to get after it. I have 4 weeks left, or I have 90 days left. So it helped me kind of encourage my clients or anyone that follows me or hired me to say, what are we really chasing here? What's the motivation? Let's set deadlines. Let's set goals. So the reward at the end was, one, like, you have the body you want, right? We're chasing the temple. Like, I felt good on the outside and on the inside. It felt light. I felt agile. Wow, I felt strong. I felt fast. Like, I felt like my reason for joining the gym in the first place over 10 years ago was because I didn't want to be an unreliable human being, like, straight up. My grandfather had cancer. We lost a battle, and it was really tough. And I felt so weak. So I was like, I want to feel that if, you know, the worst thing in the world happened, I'm able to handle it, right? So with bodybuilding at the end, I felt my strongest self.
Right, the control.
Yeah,
That part of it. Like,
yeah,
we can't control too many things, but I can control going.
I can
and getting
control
up.
how strong I can get, how fast I can get, how lean I can get, how much endurance I have. All those things just made you feel so empowering. And to say I did that is, I always tell people, if they have a goal, do everything in your power to do it, because no one can take that away from you. Like, no one can say, well, I helped you. Like, no one, that's you. No one is going to feed you at 1 o'clock in the morning or make you your food, you know, unless you have a ton of money that you can pay someone to do that. But for the most part, the reward is the fact that you are 100% in control of yourself and your decisions after that. And it made everything that I do after so easy. Like, it makes even the worst scenarios at work seem like it's fine. Like, I've done harder things.
Right.
Like, this is fine. Like, you know, I've done harder things. My first, and I'll talk about this, my first ice plunge was actually a 5-minute one this summer that just passed. And I thought to myself, like, tap into the hardest moment of your life. And it was like in the middle of that training session, like, I was starving. I got up, I was lightheaded. I was like, this sucks. I've done harder things. You can do it. You can last a little bit more. We can do a little bit more. We can go a little further. We can reach a little higher. So the mental reward is your confidence, you know. Emotional reward is your almost patience with yourself. Like, you feel like, you know, give myself time and you'll get there. Not like, I got to do this tomorrow. You know, physically, there's just so much. Everyone's like, man, I want to do that. And I'm like, yeah, sign up with me. I'll teach you the way. All right, cool. Like, what can we get done in 3 weeks? I'm like, nothing.
Right.
And I'm sorry.
Good.
Like, we don't work like that.
Right.
You know, the journey is a journey for a reason. And you have to love the process. Even during the hardest times, you have to be like, I love this. Like, I love it. You're in the middle of the worst workout of your life. I love it.
Right.
You're about to die. I love this feeling. You have to tell your brain you love everything about the journey.
You know, the gym there, the CrossFit ECF, it's the largest CrossFit gym, like, in a 50-mile radius or 100. I mean, I don't know if I've seen a bigger one, and everything is beautiful. It's based on a community and tribe, right? Because I was doing a bit of research on CrossFit and how in the early 2000s, right, it was created in California, and then it started being popular. And then with the CrossFit gym, the CrossFit challenges, right? The annual, like, you get to see the fittest human on the planet. So this makes it even more popular. So I was telling some of the people here, while Johnny was here too, that ECF can only take you so far. They can only take you to the door and show you, you have to walk in it. You have to be the one to eat right, to work out, to come and hang in there and stick through it. So maybe you could tell me a little bit about people who come to you and go, I don't have time to work out, or that sounds hard. I don't think I can't do that.
Yeah. And very common thing, which is why we as a business have values, right? And I used to stress out about people coming up with thousands of excuses. It used to really get to me because I found that I wanted success for people more than they wanted it for themselves. And if anyone, I mean, I didn't have time either. There were times where I was working, I'm always working. I was in school the beginning of all of this. I had a bartending job while I was working at ECF, and everyone has time. We have to you sit down with someone and you're like, okay, tell me about your day. How do we budget minutes and half hours and hours and we make it work? But for the most part, those people that off the bat don't think they have time is because they don't have a why. Like, what is your why? Why is it important for you to show up? Why is it a priority? some people are going to be grandparents for the first time, and it's important for them to be strong and healthy. While some people have a wedding they want to get ready for. While some people are super sick and tired of being overweight, like they can't look at themselves in the mirror. And some people are okay with that. And I'm not saying one reason is better than the other. But I always thought, if you are like, how much more can you take looking at yourself and feeling weak or feeling unhappy? I've actually had women that tell me that their marriage is on the rocks because both of them can't stand looking at themselves. They don't even feel confident to have a healthy sexual marriage because they're not confident in themselves. Wow. So there's so many private whys that people don't talk about. Right. Like, I want to lose 30 pounds. Why? Because I want to feel good about myself. Why? Because I'm not confident. Why? Because my husband doesn't look at me anymore. Why? Because it goes back to what are we exactly coming into the door for? Right. For the most part, people don't really open up or transparent enough in the beginning. But the reason why I love what we do is because it's more of a psychological thing in the beginning. It's like delayering someone's life and thought process of why you want to sign up to the gym. But there's always like a deeper layer in there that it takes a little bit to open up about. But wanting to be strong is one thing, like, but there's always like, why do you want, like, I want to, okay, but why? It's cool to throw weight around. It's cool to look sexy. There's a reason as human beings, like, we're chasing that, Right. We want to write down our goals, but if we write them down 1 to 10, and I'm like, okay, now if I gave you a chance to press a magic button and do it and get it done tomorrow, if you had to pick one out of those 10, what would it be? Now you know someone's priority. Like, well, then this is what I would want.
That's good. That's good.
So it's getting to know the people that don't have time need to discover, like, why are we doing this and why it's important, and give them something attainable and say, well, you may need this amount of time if you want it done in 3 months, and you may need this amount of time if you need it done in 6 months. Right. But numbers and data matters. Like I said, we have our values at ECF, and one of them is performance. Without data, without tracking numbers, without having deadlines, we cannot know what our performance is. Right. How do we know if we're saving toward that house? How do you know if you're, getting your credits toward that degree? None of that you will know if you're not tracking anything, depending on the goal. And the fitness works the same way. Right. Like, if you want to learn a new skill, even right now, if I wanted to learn jujitsu, I'm like, okay, like, I have to now know how many sessions a week is it going to take me. Right. And people don't seem to apply those principles in the gym, but they'll crush it at work. They're like, okay, I'm a CEO of whatever company. And they know they have to move numbers around to make it work. Same thing in the gym. And I find that for me, like, working out or first thing in the morning is my favorite thing because it's out of the way. Right. People aren't just willing to give up 1 hour of sleep, or 1 hour of Netflix. Shut it off before the night, 1 hour sooner, wake up 1 hour sooner, and just get it. And at ECF or any CrossFit gym for that matter, it's 1 hour. Right. You don't have to do more.
For us here at Omziel, we push the calendar really hard. We tell people, get a desk calendar and take off the month and then put that on your closet door, and then use colored markers, because if you just use black, scientists know that it already blends in the background and it's gone. Or if you have it on your phone, it's totally gone, But if it's in front of you and it's color coded, run red, a lift blue.
I love Excel. Like, I love color blocks. Right. It's the best. Yep.
The mind loves it.
Yep. I can always adjust that, but your staples. I'll tell someone, well, what days are you going to come in? Oh, I'll be on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, rest Thursday, go Friday, Saturday. Cool. So when your friend goes, let's go grab dinner, you're going to say before this time or after this time. Right. Like, you put that on your calendar because that is a priority and it's important to you. Right. People are like, yeah, I'll come in whenever I have time. No, now you're not going to have time because I can fill up my calendar too. Right. And like, this is my time. My 6 a.m. block is my 6 a.m. block. Once in a blue, if I have to change it due to a family emergency, due to I need rest. But for the most part, know that if you don't make it, if someone said to you right now, if you don't do dialysis 3 times a week, you're going to die.
Right.
Well, you're going to go.
You'll be there.
It's important.
Right.
If it's important to you, you make it. And then again, the importance isn't recognized unless we talk about why you're here.
That's another thing too about the importance too. We also tell people, if you don't do it, it's because it's just not important to you. You do other things in your life. Why did you do it? Oh, because I wanted to do it. It's always that emotional connection, that wanting that you spoke about earlier. Like you have to really want it. You can't like kind of want it. Like when we do the breath and the ice plunge here, it's some people are like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll try. No, really, it's not for you. You know, I just want to tell them like, look, don't come. You know, but people find it within themselves, and they show up, and then once they do it, they're like a sense of accomplishment. They're like, my God, like their mindset just snaps, and they're like, wow, I feel great, man. My life is better. I'm more happier, and stuff like that.
It's true that you can't kind of want it. You have to want it so bad that it's an obsession, just to let your mind know how important it is. Like you have to, like anything in your life, if you're like, man, I want that so bad. I want to buy that car so bad. Like it's my dream car. Like, you know, like it's like any goal.
Right.
But if you don't want it so bad,
and
you're going to get sidetracked.
Any excuse will do.
Any.
You don't need 5, just one. Just one, and you don't show up, and that's it. You throw the whole day away, and you didn't do it, and now you're kicking yourself for a few days, and then you start spiraling down.
Yeah. And like back in the day, like I remember as a kid, my friends and I, like our dreams were like as crazy as becoming professional athletes. Yeah, I want to make it to the WNBA, or I want to make it to major leagues, right? And that wasn't crazy. And nowadays, no, that's too far-fetched. Like, like,
that's crazy.
You know, I'll work for someone else and just clock out. Nobody wants things that bad anymore. So I hold to that value that if you're going to come in through our doors, we're going to talk about what you want really bad. And if we're not for you, that's okay too. You know, that's why regular gyms are there. You go in and do what you want.
Exactly. Yeah, just go hang out.
We chase mental toughness for sure. We did our 5 WODs for New Year's Eve, as you saw Johnny, and it became with like I did the first one, then the second one, then I was like, might as well finish. Like I'm already in it. Might as well see it through. You know. But part of my goals for this year is to tap into that self that I was in before. And chase something that means something to me, you know, and get back to it.
Right. It's got to be for you. If it's for somebody else, oh, I'll do it for my husband, or I'll do it for my girlfriend, or I'll do it for my, you know, whatever. It has to be for you. Yeah, those are just the byproducts. And then you spoke about the mindset too. That's one of the things we push here too. It's all in the mind. The body is like the byproduct of what you get from that thing. But it's your mind to say like, no, we're doing this now. When the little voice is saying, stay in, nobody's looking. Oh, what are you training for? You know, but you say, no, I'm going. I'm doing this.
It's like train your body to already rewire it, right? Rewire it to believe that when it's time to go, we're ready.
No negotiations.
Nope.
Right. We spoke about that too, about with the ice. Like I've been doing more and more plunges, and we're just said like that's what we're doing. We're being the premier provider of breathwork and ice plunge in northern New Jersey, and continue from there. But how that it's going to happen, Jessica, if I don't do it? How is it that I'm going to tell somebody to come on, get up, and you can do it if I don't go out? You know, so my regimen, you know, not to brag, but I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. No, you know, negotiation. Alarm. I'm up before the alarm. My stuff is ready. I'm on. I'm out the door. I'm running. I'm 6 miles, 7 miles, 7 miles out, and then I've come back in. I'm doing yoga.
Nice. Okay.
I do breath work, and then I do some yoga, about 30 minutes of that. So it's always that. I'm always, training myself. I'm in this constant perpetual motion of rising, of training. So that's how I first met Johnny. I was doing the Spartan race, and I did one, and it was not pretty. It was ugly. I was screaming out physically. Like, people were like, "Yo, you all right?" Like, I was like,
Yeah.
"I'm okay." Wait, but, my thighs, everything was just pain. And then I went, and then he quickly showed me lots of things, man, how I can be and how I can perform better. So I just took that, and I started pushing myself with that mindset, and just, man, I've been doing it now since 2017, and I do a few a year, like about 3 or 4 of them, but it's all in the mind. It's just the mind.
Yeah.
I get up, it's like, no, it's now. We're going now. You don't tell me, I tell you what to do. You work for me. The body works for me. I'm spirit. I'm energy inside. Yeah.
You have to walk in that authority, though. You have to believe. And unfortunately, I think that, a lot of people walk in so much insecurity, and they tell themselves that they're just not good enough. The brain is quick to say you're not good enough because they've heard that a lot of times in their life, or not heard to be confident. And I am a big believer in words making such a big, impact in people's lives. And constantly, if you meet someone, just even if it's a stranger, like, you look great, they're like, what, me?
Right,
yeah, like,
right.
because they're not gonna do, unless you're gonna tell yourself constantly. It's really hard to fight those battles by yourself. So, like, if you're, like you said, you're in charge of your body, you're in charge of what you do. And that was a big part of my beginning of the journey, is I had to look at myself in the mirror every single day and say, like, you're the shit. Like, own it, walk in it,
Right.
believe in it.
Right.
Like,
For real.
And there's a God that lives inside of you. Act like it.
Right. Right.
You have the power, you have the authority. You're no different than anybody else.
Right.
The only difference is how we, execute that behavior after those thoughts. But oftentimes people just give in so easy into the voice
Right.
that says, you're pathetic, you're sad, you're single, or you're divorced, or you're not where you should be in life. And we fight those battles all the time. But the practice of, and ice plunges is actually one of the ways. Some people I now know that use that as a way of, like, or cold showers. Like, how do you start to build confidence and toughness?
Right.
It's just getting through it. And what you say, oh my God, this sucks. You can just say, this sucks. This is the worst thing ever. I can't wait for it to be over. Or, I got this. I'm in control. I got the authority to tell my body what to do.
Right.
It's not doing the thing. It's not going the 6 miles or doing the bodybuilding show or whatever. It's what we say during that process.
That's right.
How we talk to ourselves during the process.
Yeah, because we have everything that we need inside of us. We do.
Yeah.
We do.
We have it. All the tools are there. It's just, like I said, it's like we either take out the right tool or the wrong tool,
Right. But let me ask you this. Where can people find you now if they're looking for you to be with you and to learn more about you?
Social media. I was actually deactivated for a couple of months. This year was tough. I took a break from social media, and I had to, I think, needed a pause from a lot in life. And part of while I was on break, I was actually here during the breathing, and I was experiencing a lot of anxiety in my life. I took a break from competing. I took a break.
So where can people find you if they want to see you and be with you and learn more about you?
Social media, Instagram particularly. I actually took a break from that this year because I was documenting a lot. If you scroll through the way you did, I think that is, like, the easiest way to, like, just pour out. Pour out is, like, a good word, because I took a break and certain people were like, where'd you go? I love the feed and positivity that, you know, you can talk to so many people at the same time. And I don't mean friends and family, because actually I prefer one-on-ones with that. But I had to get to know myself a little bit outside of that world. You know, I had to stop competing and learn about who I am without competition, without chasing something, like, you know.
Right.
And I felt lost for a second. I was like, you know,
what do I do?
What is life about?
Right.
You know, and it did, though, help me figure out what my personal goals were outside of fitness.
Okay.
What does my heart really want for my future 10 years from now? Do I want a family? Do I want to settle down? There were a lot of things that I think that I was kind of pushing off to the side because I wanted to chase being competitive and living my life, you know, for career purposes. But now, you know, and social media on my handle, Jessica Oquendo, I keep it simple.
Okay.
Yeah. My goal is to grow that again and just, you know,
I think that's important.
Document. Yeah, because we are in the fitness industry, and it's important for people to see that you go through it too. You know, we all have our hard days, our good days. And I plan to be a little bit more competitive this year now with CrossFit, and give CrossFit more of a chance, and push through that, and running more and things that I don't normally do. That's another mental tough thing that I want to check off my bucket list.
Yeah, it is.
So mental. I have to do my checklist. I'm running. I'm like, why do I want to stop? Are you hurting? Nope. Am I out of breath? Nope. Like, is something wrong?
It's
no.
The mind. Yeah,
it's
the mind is saying, like, who's chasing you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Slow down. Yeah.
So yeah, Instagram is going to be my goal is to grow it again. Like I said, I took a break. I deactivated. I just activated it again.
Okay.
And I
do think that that's very important. That's one of the reasons why I was pursuing you to interview you, because I find, you know, what you've accomplished, some of those things. I already see the fascinating world that you've already been in. So I wanted to know more about that, and I feel that other people want to know too. I mean, like, I know that you're there in CrossFit ECF in West New York, right? If anybody's looking, look that up. You know, but then recently I've seen guys with the baby stroller in there, and moms, like, and some look like grandmas coming in, and like,
oh yeah,
for real, people are just pushing it. So that's why I see you're such an intricate part of what goes on there. So I feel that people should know more about you.
Yeah, we are very blessed, to say the least, that all walks of life decide that it is never too late to start. Families with newborns still making a priority to do that.
Wow.
You know, I'm a believer. If I ever have a child, that baby is getting strapped to my back as I continue to do what I'm doing, because that's not an excuse to stop your life. You know,
that's beautiful.
So I encourage everyone to, you know, just take a look and say it's never too late. Or some people are like, I'm not fit enough to start fitness. I'm like, that's why you're going to start fitness, because you're not fit. Like, that's the whole point. But to dig a little bit deeper, why do I want this? What's my purpose? Some people often don't believe they have a purpose, and you know, I feel like my purpose in life is to help people find purpose. Like, that's my purpose.
Yeah. Me too. That's why I do what I do.
There we go.
That's why I do what I do.
Yeah.
I feel that God has called me to do these things.
Exactly.
It's a calling.
It's
That's
definitely.
what it is.
It's like, there are so many times I fought, like, with my, I would say, non-spiritual side, like flesh, right? Where in the flesh, I'm just like, you know, I don't know, this is hard. But in the spirit, I'm just like, what do you want from me? Like, what do you need me to do? And as soon as, like, I step into my purpose, I feel like all weight has off my shoulders. I feel this overwhelming sensation of emotion, where I just don't even know what to do with it. And I just want to keep on. I'm like, guys, you know, this is what you need to do. This is what you have to do. And I have this, like, instinct of, I just sense someone and their feelings, and I'm so connected to them.
Wow.
And I'm like, how are you doing today? They're like, no, I'm not
Right.
well. How did you know? I'm like, I don't
Right.
know how I didn't know,
Right.
but let's
Right.
go. Let's
Right.
get it today.
Right.
Very important.
That's
And that's
great.
the business of relationship is what ECF is about. Like just understanding people, knowing people, and like
Right.
we're doing fitness, but it's really like,
Right.
let's find your
It's-
purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let's walk in it.
And it's that community, that tribe that you're building. That's
Yeah.
why I find it myself, so close to you guys. Like, man, how could I help you guys? Like, promote you or do something? And
Yeah.
and it's been great. Johnny's been here. Like, we're doing great.
It's gonna
We're
be a good year. I feel like
a
it's gonna
great
be
year. We
a
did
good
the
year.
ice plunge
Right.
over there at the competition we did at the gym. At first, nobody was coming. Then when they finished the competition, oh my God,
I knew that would happen.
there, man.
I knew
It's
that would
beautiful.
happen.
Yeah.
Like nobody wants to like freeze up before doing a workout. So
But afterwards,
in the
they
future,
love
now you
it.
know that's how
right,
it is.
exactly.
But for sure, I think
Oh.
it's gonna be. We've been digging a lot into mindset and digging a lot into like walking in this purpose, removing toxicity, and just starting with good foundation. So something that I am promoting is your breath work and even at the end of the workout with time, I just make people lie on the floor. I was like, don't do anything, don't grab your water, don't just lay on the floor, fill that belly with air, and just close your eyes. Because everyone's just like, oh, I'm done, I'm gonna leave.
Right.
Boom.
Yeah.
Just take a moment.
That's right.
Take
That's
a moment. We need moments. We need more
We
moments.
do.
We need
We
more
do.
moments of being still. We need more moments of just
That's what this is about
recognition.
here, what we're doing here too.
Yeah.
Giving people a chance. Like, we know how hard you work. We know the stress and the family. This is your time, man. Here. Then with the ice, like it's just pushing you into the present moment. Someone, one of the girls contacted us. Oh, when are you having it? I want to come through. So you guys, I'm sure, mentioned it to them. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys coming through here more often. And I'll leave her information down below. That way you can contact Jessica. And that's it. Thank you so much for coming through. Appreciate
Thank you for having me.
And there you go, guys. Stay tuned for the next one. Peace.